Welcome to Michigan Reimagined, presented by T.A. Forsberg and Wagoner Financial. And here's your host, Chris Buck.
So Michigan's doubling down on its effort to create a bright future for its residents. There are a lot of organizations working to put our youth in the best possible position to thrive. One organization in these crosshairs is Junior Achievement, a name you might be familiar with, but you may not know who they are and how they work. So joining me today is the Senior District Director of the Junior Achievement of Mid-Michigan, Susan ODell-Shilton. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, well, we appreciate all the work that you do, even though we're going to unpack everything that you do. So when was Junior Achievement found as an entity?
So Junior Achievement was founded in 1919.
Wow. Okay.
So we're 106 years old.
That's fantastic. And where was that? It's not a Michigan organization, I would imagine.
It is not a Michigan organization. We were founded originally just after the Ford Motor Company opened their first manufacturing plant.
Wow.
And so Junior Achievement kind of came from that as a way to bring young people out of the farming culture and into the Industrial Revolution, basically. Our first program was called the JA Company program, and that was a program that was an after-school program, and students would create a business. And so they would learn to market a product, manufacture a product, sell their product. And so they would learn entrepreneurship through that program. And that was our only program up until the 70s.
Wow. Okay. And then obviously they pivoted to make it a little bit more applicable to the things that were going on at the time? Or has it always been about manufacturing?
It has not. And so in the 70s, we realized that although we were serving a large segment of the student population, we weren't able to bring our programs to all of the students. And so our program base changed. We started bringing programs into kindergarten through 12th grade into the school system. So now the programs were available to all of the students, not just the students who had transportation or the students who could, get to the JA Company program meetings that may have been on the weekend. So we wanted to make sure that we were providing programming to all students.
Got it. And is Junior Achievement nationwide entity? Is there a chapter in everyone's town, or is it still limited in geography?
So Junior Achievement's actually international.
Okay.
It was incredible when I began working with Junior Achievement, I was so blown away by the reach that Junior Achievement has in the countries that we serve. And so it's not just a local, it's not just a state, it's not just the United States, it's international. And it offers such great programming for students, and it doesn't matter where they live.
Got it. And you represent the Mid-Michigan chapter. How many chapters would there be around the state of Michigan?
So in the state of Michigan, Junior Achievement of Mid-Michigan falls under the Junior Achievement of the Michigan Great Lakes umbrella. Okay. In Junior Achievement of the Michigan Great Lakes, we cover as a 5-office footprint. We cover 50 of the 83 counties in the state of Michigan.
Wow. Okay.
So there's also a chapter in Southeast Michigan, so the Detroit area chapter. Yep. There's another chapter in the Midland area. There's so we have a brand new office in the UP that covers the entire UP now. We have an office in Traverse City that covers that area. So we pretty much have the entire state covered at this point. By one of our chapters.
Right. Perfect. Which is something I want to make sure everyone understands, that while they may not reach out to you specifically for assistance, if they're listening in Traverse City or in Kalamazoo or in Detroit, they know that they can find their local chapter of Junior Achievement to get any details. So you've mentioned a couple times students. Talk a little bit about who your target audience is. So students, is there a certain band of ages that tend to be in your wheelhouse, and what specifically are you trying to deliver to them?
So our student base is kindergarten through 12th grade. Okay. Some people say, how do you teach financial literacy to kindergartners? Yeah. So we start with really simple concepts, wants versus needs. And we have some really cute hands-on, they learn while they're having fun. And so we give them these flashcards and we may show them, if you live in it, you wear it, or you eat it, it's a need.
Right.
But then we may show them some roller skates. So we kind of throw some tricky questions in there to them, and that kind of makes them think about, is this really a want or is this a need? So our student base is kindergarten through 12th grade. We have a really large focus because now in the state of Michigan, it is required for students to have a half credit of personal finance to graduate. So we have been really focusing this year last year and this year, and moving forward on providing those programs. We have 3 programs that meet that criteria, that schools can reach out. We can provide all of the materials that they need, all of the curriculum that they need, and there's no cost for the school. And they're just absolutely fantastic programs.
Got it. Okay. So you're bringing this information into the classroom, or does Junior Achievement assist outside of the classroom? Are there like seminars or things that students can go to after the school day?
So we have a lot of different opportunities and options. Most of our programming is done in the classroom. Our Capstone programs, which are our 2 newest programs, that's our JA BizTown and our JA Finance Park, those have anywhere from 8 to 20 sessions in the classroom, and then they are followed with a culminating experience in our Grand Rapids campus where students put into action everything that they've learned while they've been in their classroom. So, for instance, our JA BizTown, it's for 4th, 5th, and 6th grade students. They actually run the town for the day. So they interview for jobs, they're hired for a specific job, and then when they go to Grand Rapids for the day, they have to work in our BizTown. When you walk into BizTown, it looks like a small town. So there's storefronts like Meijer, Gordon Food Service, the Helen DeVos Hospital, Chick-fil-A. There's a radio station. Every student has a job. And they have to, the premise of this is the CEO and the CFO have to take out a loan for their business. They have to figure out what they're going to sell, whether it's a product or a service from their storefront. They have to sell and make enough money throughout the day to pay their business loan back. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of, we have a mayor, they have to vote. They make laws for their town. They have the consequences for their breaking their laws. These students come off the bus and they're wearing their little 3-piece suits, and the girls have their hair done up and they look like they are dressed for success. And they come into this experience and people say 4th grade.
Yeah.
It's amazing. When you watch them in action, it is the most incredible thing. And twice during the day while they're there, they get paid. So the first time they're paid on a paper check. They have to endorse their check, take it to the bank or the credit union. They learn the difference between a bank and a credit union. They have to open a savings account. They learn about taxes coming out of your paycheck. That's never a happy moment when they see that paycheck isn't their full amount.
Yep.
And then throughout the day, they're also consumers. So they literally are watching how money flows through a community and how a community, every person in that community has a benefit to the community.
Right. Well, I mean, that's such a powerful experience to have. How do you penetrate the student body to give everyone that same access? So what kind of coverage do you have? Is it district by district, their choice as to whether to incorporate your system versus doing it on their own versus not doing it at all?
So we reach out. Everybody asks me all the time, well, who do you talk to at the schools? Everybody. I will talk to, I don't care if it's the lunch lady, the janitor, the principal, the superintendent. I personally want every student to experience JA programming. And so there is no one specific person that we talk to. It's everybody. Because somebody is going to be that champion that's going to step up and say, this is really great stuff and we really want this. And it can be a parent. A parent can say, hey, I saw this and I would like my child to have this. And then they can bring it to the educator or the principal. We're happy to talk to anyone about our programs. And we love to bring them into the schools. We're so excited to see our BizTown program and our Finance Park program and the schools that have jumped on board here in our Tri-County area. and really put those new programs into action.
Makes a lot of sense. And I'll tell you, if you're ready to make smart financial decisions, I can't endorse the Wagner Financial team enough. Wagner Financial offers a proven process for financial transformation, empowering individuals at all stages, whether you're starting out, nearing retirement, or anywhere in between. Stop feeling unsure about your financial path. Wagner Financial can help you undergo a financial transformation. Schedule a consultation today to discuss your individual needs and discover how Wagner Financial can help you by visiting them at wagner-financial.com or give them a call at 517-853-3367. It's a poignant sponsor at this point in the discussion, financial literacy, right?
It is. I was just sitting here thinking as you were going through that, I'm like, well, that's very much in line with our Finance Park program. And that was the next one I was going to talk to you about.
Well, let's talk about it. Go ahead, financial.
So our JA Finance Park is one of those programs that meets the graduation requirement.
Okay.
Students have an opportunity for 8 to 20 sessions in their classroom. It's led by their instructor. But there are also additional pieces that we can bring in and add to that. So we have a program called JA All About Cars, and it talks to students about buying their first car and how their credit affects their interest rates and budgeting for that car, and not just, oh, wow, I have this great fancy new car, but now I can't afford to put gas in it because of all the extra costs, right?
Yep.
So with our JA Finance Park program, we teach students about budgeting. So again, they're given a job, they're given a life situation. So they may be married, they may have children, and then they have an income level, and they have to create a budget. And so when they go to their field trip, they go into each individual storefront, and they have to make a decision. So Mercantile Bank, for instance, that storefront, they have to make a decision about, can I buy a house? Can I rent a house? Am I still going to live at home with mom and dad? Then they go and they make an automobile choice. And can they afford to buy a car? Are they going to have to take public transportation? I mean, so there's a lot of choices that they make: continuing education, lifestyle choices, childcare, groceries. And I'll tell you, I volunteered with a group of students, and I was in the grocery decision storefront.
Okay.
And I asked these 11th and 12th grade students, how much do you think that mom and dad spend on groceries a month? The average answer was $25. And I was kind of floored. And I said, really? And so then we talked to them about what the average actually is. And it was amazing to me because during this particular visit, one of the students was there and she's like, I really didn't want to come today. And I said, why? I mean, I always loved to go on field trips when I was in school. And she said, it's too early. Well, we all know high schoolers, they don't like to get up early, right? Throughout the day, I watched her like bloom. It was like watching a caterpillar turn into a butterfly. And it was the most heartwarming thing. And throughout the day, I saw her start to help other students with their budget. And she's like, I really have this. Like, I really know what's happening. And at the end of the day, she hugged me and she said, you know, this is probably the most useful thing that I've learned in school. I was like, wow.
That's awesome. And I couldn't agree more. We have kids who've survived the K-12 process. And in reflection, it's like we need better just general health understanding, just how the body operates and disease prevention and all that kind of stuff. We need financial literacy. It doesn't, there's so many mandatory things that they're pushed to do. And I'm glad to hear that they need a semester of financial acumen, education. And I'm grateful that that's there because I don't think that was when my kids were going through, and we've had to teach it ourselves. And luckily we can teach it ourselves, but there are some other parents that maybe don't have the time or the wherewithal to really explain how that works. And you can get kind of upside down and in trouble pretty quickly as a young adult. So I'm grateful that this is available. So the Junior Achievement, you create all of this curriculum, right? Who helps you create that? I know you have board of directors and stuff. Is it there, or is there a Junior Achievement headquarters that pumps this down to your chapter, or is it developed locally based on circumstances? How does that work?
So the one nice thing about Junior Achievement programming is it can be altered to fit the area. So Junior Achievement has JA-USA, which is out in Colorado. That's where our main office is. And that's where all of the curriculum is kind of developed and then sent down. But we do have programs that may not necessarily fit a specific situation. And I'll give you an example. We do an event every year called the Girls Dream Fair. And that event is aimed specifically at 7th and 8th grade girls, and it's to introduce them to careers in STEM.
Okay.
And so we have a program called JA, It's My Future. That program looks at career mapping, career planning, soft skills, resume building, all of those types of things. So we take some parts and pieces of that and we customize it to fit into the JA Girls Dream Fair. And then we bring in women from all different walks in the STEM field. And so the entire day is spent with women in STEM. The students get to learn the JA programming, but they also get to be mentored by these incredible women who share their story of what it was like for them in middle school, high school, college, how their career path has grown and changed, how the world has grown and changed. And you just get to see the light bulbs go on. And one of the students, we survey our students after these events. And one of the students wrote on the survey, she said, "Thank you for providing a safe place for me to use my voice." She said, "As a female student, it's not always a safe place for me to ask questions, or at least I don't feel that way."
Huh. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that resonates.
So we offer some opportunities for students that they just may not otherwise have.
Right on. Okay. So I want to ask, who is delivering the content to the students? Is it do you give the curriculum to teachers that are already in academia, or is it volunteers or board members or staff? I know you've got the two programs that you mentioned that are more the field trip stuff. But so who teaches those? And then there's also in-class stuff that helps satisfy that semester of education that they need. And who teaches that content?
So our programs can be led by educators. Typically, what we want to see is we want to have community volunteers. So we want to bring the business community into the schools. We want our partners in the community, our leaders in the community, our community members as a whole, parents. We want to see them, and we want to have them in those classrooms. What we have found with Junior Achievement is 51% of our JA alumni say that they either work in or have worked in the same career field as their JA volunteer. So if you are looking to grow your pipeline for whatever your career is, get involved.
Makes sense. How can they do that?
So getting involved with Junior Achievement is super easy. You can call us, text us, email us. You can go to our website, midmichigan.ja.org. You can call us at 517-371-5437. Email susan.shilton@ja.org. We would be happy to get you connected. We also offer some great opportunities for team building. So if you have a group in your organization and you want to do some team building things, we would be happy to schedule that as well.
Fantastic. But Junior Achievement in Mid-Michigan, Google will get you there.
Absolutely.
But all of the social media and websites and phone numbers, emails, all that stuff is fantastic. I want to also thank another sponsor here at Michigan Reimagine. We tell stories of passionate Michiganders doing great things across the state. Today's podcast sponsor takes the art of positive storytelling to a whole new level. The good people at Good Marketing work with organizations across the state that are having a positive impact on the lives of Michigan residents. They help educate communities on the importance of affordable housing, the impact of wildlife and natural resource management, the availability of workforce development and education programs. If it lifts people up and makes communities stronger, then they want to help spread the word. If your organization needs help communicating the good work you do, stop by their website at goodmarketing.com. That's GUD marketing.com. And you mentioned that they
Yes.
do good things with you.
Good Marketing is an amazing organization, and I'm so happy to hear that they're a sponsor for this. They are just incredible. Female-owned, obviously, so really highly involved in our Girls Dream Fair, and just phenomenal people.
Got it. I couldn't agree more. So we've talked about all of the volunteer opportunities, the curriculum that you provide. So what, other than volunteerism, I mean, I guess money usually matters. How are you funded? Do you get grants and loans, fundraising, federal, state? How does that all work?
So Junior Achievement is a little bit different than most nonprofits. Most nonprofits will get a lot of individual contributions. We are funded almost entirely from business or community.
Oh, wow.
And so grants, sponsorships, partnerships with community organizations, those are all, ways to get involved. We also have a couple of different events that we have throughout the year. So July 14th of this year, we've got our Capital City golf outing. And we are still looking for some golfers for that. So if you're interested in that, but that's a yearly event is our golf outing, typically the second week of July. We also have our Star Makers Breakfast, and the Star Makers Breakfast is a yearly event held in December. It's typically held at the Crown Plaza. That is an event that if you really want to see the impact that Junior Achievement makes, it's an event you don't want to miss. Although it is one of our larger fundraisers, it is also the most impactful and inspiring because you get to hear from students who've actually been impacted. I recently met with a gentleman here in Lansing who went to college on a JA scholarship. And so now he is coming full circle and coming back to JA as a volunteer. And so he had JA as a student. He competed in the JA company program. He won a JA scholarship. Now he's coming back and doing the volunteering role. So it's always wonderful to have those full circle moments.
No question. That's fantastic. Are there any other messages you want to deliver to our audience as we kind of come to a close?
I think the biggest thing that I can say to you is, Junior Achievement is a little bit different in that, some people look at us like we're not taking away homelessness or we're not feeding the hungry but when you really break it down, what we're offering is the opportunity for students to own their financial independence and to be successful and to thrive in life. Which
directly prevents the things that they may not talk about you solving. I mean, if it's proactive.
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. Good stuff. Remind everyone of the website so they can write their check or sign up to volunteer or sign up to golf.
Absolutely. So it's www.midmichigan.ja.org.
Fantastic. Well, we've been talking to the Senior District Director of the Junior Achievement of Mid-Michigan, Susan ODell-Shilton. Really appreciate you joining me here today, sharing the story of Junior Achievement. It's fabulous. Really happy to have had you.
Thank you so much.
And I want to thank all of our loyal sponsors: Forsberg Real Estate, Wagoner Financial, Triterra Environmental, Good Marketing, Keller Williams Advantage and Team, Michigan Rise, and the attorneys at Foster Swift. All are fantastic people, worth the call. And if you found this show as a one-off, I want to remind you to follow and subscribe to Michigan Reimagined on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and pretty much anywhere you find your podcasts. This is Chris Buck signing off from Michigan Reimagined.